Summertime. Patio season is upon us, my friends. That's right, there's nothing like a cold beer on a summer's day, and we're visiting some of our favorite Quad City breweries. Well, actually, we're just visiting their patios to partake in some of the very best seasonal activities. So why don't you pour yourself a cold one, sit comfortably on some patio furniture, and join us for this episode of Brewed.
Adventurous Brewing here in the heart of downtown Bettendorf. This is really becoming a scene downtown Bettendorf, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
This is Jami. Jami, what do you do here at Adventurous Brewing?
I am a beertender here.
Beertender.
Beertender is
Right
what
on.
I like to call myself.
A big part of that, I guess, is making sure that you're getting the right beer in the right glass. When somebody comes in here, it's called Adventurous Brewing. Maybe they're a little nervous about what's going on. You're there to kind of guide them on their journey, huh?
Yes, absolutely. That's my favorite part is I think always finding something for somebody. We have a good variety of beers, so I think we have a good mix for just about anyone.
I've seen you do this firsthand where someone will look at the menu and they can be overwhelmed because there's a lot going on. It's not that there's like too many beers, but you know what I'm saying? The styles are so diverse. And I can see when people look at the menu, and you're probably better at this than anybody, you can sense when someone's lost.
Yes.
And you ask, like, well, what do you like?
Yep.
What are you into?
Yep. So my first question is always like, what kind of beer do you like? It's a good starting point. We have a wide variety of IPAs. We always have something a little bit lighter on tap. We make our own seltzers. So I like starting with that to try and figure out, what flavor they like to go for.
The seltzers. I mean, this segment is about being outside in patios in the Quad Cities now that it's, nice enough to drink outside for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The seltzer game here at Adventurous Brewing is what I've heard a lot about. People will say, like, whatever they're doing there with their seltzers. To be clear, the seltzers it's not High Noon, it's not White Claw, it's made here in Bettendorf.
Correct, yep, we make them, and we rotate them a lot, just like a lot of our beers too. But our seltzers are very popular. Even some people who say, like, I don't like seltzers, I don't like White Claws, here, try this.
Right.
So like right now we have a lemonade seltzer on tap, and we have a cola seltzer on tap. So it's kind of fun to play with some of those, and a lot of people enjoy them.
I could see on a hot summer day, especially with your proximity to the bike path.
Exactly.
I mean, do you find that people who ride bikes are more more interested in seltzers, or am I making a horrible stereotype? Is that a terrible, gross generalization? Please, people who ride bicycles, I love you the most. But they seem to me like if you're on a bike, it would make sense that you would want something that's maybe not as
lighter.
Yeah, filling.
I mean, all of us beer tenders kind of laugh that there's one bicyclist, you're going to see 10 more behind them.
Right.
So we have a lot of bicycle traffic here. They're a lot of fun, a lot of different groups doing different things. So they all kind of like, IPAs to lighter stuff to seltzers. Our sours are really popular too. So
when the first bicyclist shows up in a group, and like that's the person, the man or the woman who for some reason is way ahead of the group. And it's usually, I'm guessing, because they're the thirstiest of the group. Like they know that Adventurous is the next stop, and maybe they're the ones that go from the end of the pack to the front of the pack to get here.
And they all kind of wear different things. So,
like what kind of things?
They're like spandex and their hats. So, I mean, you have some that are in like groups that are like real serious riders. And then you have some that they're kind of like bar crawling.
Something has just occurred to me, Jami, that probably the reason they like seltzers is the spandex clothing. Like, it's more forgiving if you have a seltzer as opposed to a couple of beers.
It might be.
When you're all, you don't want to be ballooning up on the middle of a bike ride on a hot July afternoon.
Right.
The seltzers are a big deal here on the patio. Now, this patio has been around for a little while. I think the last time the show was here, this patio space was not available.
Right, yep.
What goes on back here?
During the summertime, I mean, even in the fall, we do have food trucks. So we have a couple different food trucks during the week or on the weekends.
What are your particular favorite food trucks? Which are the ones you get excited when you see them in the parking lot?
All of them.
Yeah.
But Floyd's is always a big hit here. We have Wolf It Down Pizza. That's been a newer one that's popped up.
Right.
Chabot's, they do like a Korean, infusion. So there's they're all really popular, and they do well out here on the patios because you can, you know, eat out here, have a good beer. We also allow kids and dogs out on the patio as well.
I noticed you've got a space here for dogs to drink. Like so when you're here having your delicious beer or your seltzer, the dogs get something as well.
Oh yeah. If I'm not working, there's a good chance you can catch me on the patio with my dog.
Right on.
So it's nice to just, you know, be able to walk down here. I don't live far away. Walk down, have a beer with my dog on the patio, and walk back. So,
you know, we were talking about food trucks and that Floyd's that you mentioned. There's two things I've learned with Floyd's. One is everybody wants to talk about how long the line is, and two, they want to talk about how glad they are they waited that long in line. Like no one ever says, no one ever says, oh yeah, I had to wait 30 minutes in line. Can you believe it? It's like, I had to wait 30 minutes for Floyd's. And it was the best decision I made that day.
yeah.
So pairing those hamburgers and the stuff from all these really great food trucks with the incredible beer here at Adventurous, I mean, that's as close to heaven as you can get.
Exactly.
And you're out here when the sun's shining and the breeze is just right.
You can't beat that.
You cannot. Downtown Bettendorf, again, Adventurous Brewing, inside or outside. The beer does taste a little bit better outside, though, don't you find?
Especially with the sun shining, and you know, there's nothing better than a nice cold beer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Jami, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What beers do you find are the most popular on the patio in summertime?
Yeah, patio beer, you know, fruity and light is the big thing. That being said, we have been finding a big consumption of our stouts right now.
You're kidding.